Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Cynthia.
And today we're talking about Season 3, Episode 21, titled Over the Hills and Far Away, air date April 26, 2006, and the synopsis is...
On the night before Nathan and Haley's wedding, Brooke argues with Haley over the wedding dress. Meanwhile, Lucas and Karen return.
By the way, the title,
Yeah.
Over the Hills, it
Mhm.
makes me just want to say, Over the Hills. Because it's
What?
Over the Hills and Far Away is the title.
Mhm.
And I just want to sing, Over the Hills we go.
Oh.
I'm like, it's a weird title.
Mhm.
Is this supposed to be a song?
Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of weird.
Mhm.
Sorry to whoever song that is, but I don't know.
Right.
So I have a question though.
Yeah.
With this episode, did you like Jake narrating the story, the fairy tale story?
Yeah, but it seemed like he did it too much.
Well, they had to give him something to do, apparently.
Mhm.
I mean, okay, like at the beginning when he starts, I'm like, okay, because I'm like, he's not even in with the rest of the cast.
Mhm.
He's not. Like if Brooke was doing this, or Lucas or Peyton or anybody else,
Yeah.
it would be like, okay, because it has to do with their wedding.
Mhm.
But Jake, he ain't even there. But then, so I thought that was a little confusing. And I was like, why? But then when you go to the end,
Mhm.
when he's reading, like finishing the story to Jenny, I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. Because he's reading it to her. But the whole time we don't know that
Right.
until the very end. So the whole
Mhm.
time I'm just like, here we go. Jake again, narrating the story.
Yep.
I was like, okay. But that was
Mhm.
funny. You said he narrated it too much.
Yeah, it just seemed like he was saying too much that we already knew. So,
I mean, we already knew like this whole story.
yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
First of all, how did Brooke get in Nathan and Haley's apartment? I thought she gave the key back.
Yeah, she should have. So I don't know.
She just let herself in.
I guess, yeah.
I was confused at that because Haley's like, let me in, and it's like, why can't she get in? Like, why is Brooke in there?
Mhm.
And Haley can't. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless she made herself a key, which is very weird if she did.
Mhm. Yeah, so we first flash back to Peyton and Jake who are inside, and that's when Jake asks Peyton if she said she wanted to get married because she says it's crazy, right? And he says, yeah, it's a little nuts. And Payne says, maybe not, because it worked out for Nathan and Haley, and look how happy they are.
She was Team Nathan, okay, the beginning of the season, because of what Haley did.
Mm-hmm.
Why would she? Oh, look how happy they are. They haven't always been happy, and they were separated. What is she talking about? And there was cheating involved. What is she talking about that they're happy? Like, really?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't really classify what happened last season as happy.
Right.
Because they started off rocky.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make sense that she would say like use them as the example, because they weren't let's be honest, they were not together for all those months.
Right.
So no, because think about it. It was what was it, like 12 weeks for the tour, which is 3 months?
That was like 6 weeks.
I don't know. It felt like that long.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it feels like it's been, but then you have summer, which is 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I thought she extended her 6 weeks It felt like it.
Maybe, I don't know.
And so I'm just kind of like, it doesn't make sense. Because they've been separated basically for almost 6 months.
Right.
So I don't really classify. And then, when they got back to school, they still weren't together. So yeah, it's been definitely over 6 months. So I don't really classify that as a happy couple.
Right.
But as she shouldn't have said now they're happy. Like maybe that's what Jake should have said. Like, Peyton, did you forget what happened? Like they're happy now. But they weren't even together.
Right.
Legally on paper, but not in reality. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you agree that Jake and Peyton should get married?
No, not like this.
Me either. Because we all know she only wants a family.
Right.
Yeah. So then we go to Brooke and Peyton, or Brooke and Haley. And that's where she can't. That's where she shows her wedding dress.
Yep.
Cynthia.
Yeah, so I don't know why she decided to make it at the apartment and not like at Peyton's house, but yeah.
Cynthia. Did you like the dress?
Well, I didn't like the collar part of it.
I didn't like the flower or the feathers.
I didn't really notice the feathers.
It was, it was terrible. I can't. I'm like, no. It was so bad.
Well,
I
mean,
have a question about this though.
Yeah.
I'm so confused at this because she's making this bad dress, but then the next day she has her real dress, like perfectly made up. So was she trying to show her a bad dress so she could see the real dress?
No, I just think that she went with what she thought was best and not necessarily what Haley thought was best.
But who can make a wedding dress in one day? She's not even making this ugly wedding dress in one day.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
That's why I'm trying to figure out, did Brooke show her an ugly dress so that she could be happy with the real dress? Because nobody can make a dress like that by themselves in a day or less.
Yeah, did she undo the first dress to make the second dress, or did she actually have enough material to make both of them? Is my question too.
Well, I don't know. Didn't you hear them at the end? Where's our sheets?
Yeah, that's because Brooke had used the material originally to make the sheets, and then she took the sheets to make the dress. So that means so that means that Brooke, I guess, had enough material to make 2 dresses somehow. She just used part of it to make the sheets first, and then used the rest of it to make the first dress, and then the sheets again to make the second dress, I guess.
That doesn't make sense.
But
I didn't like the dress, and I agree. I am on Haley's side when I feel Brooke should make the dress she asked for. At least make it look similar.
Yeah.
If you can't make it exact, make it similar. But that was the dress she wanted. That was not it. That wasn't even close to it. That was far from it. But yeah, it was ugly.
Yeah, she wanted a simple dress that's like Vera Wayne meets Snow White. I think Brooke got the Snow White part a little bit with the color, but I don't really know about Vera Wayne either, but I don't know. But yeah, it was too much. Far from simple.
And far from what she wanted.
And And then while Brooke is behind the room divider screen, she presses play on a voice recorder and asks Haley how did Nathan ask her to marry her the first time, or marry him the first time.
Cynthia.
Hmm.
Okay. So the writers, again, I don't know if these writers were there from season 2 or not season 2, season 1. But Haley says that he asked her to marry him the next morning. He did not ask her to marry him the next morning. They had a fight. They ran to his apartment. That's where she was about to take off her clothes, and he then asks her to marry him. And then they got married that night.
Right.
I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make any sense because I was like, okay, so clearly the writers either totally forgot what happened almost 2 years ago, like in real life, or it's different writers and they clearly don't know the history of Nathan and Haley because that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. You know how like actors sometimes say like they don't have a voice and stuff, or like, you've said how Joy has like parts that she wants to like have her input of like where she's standing or what she's doing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I would have more of an input. I'd have more like of a fit of my storyline doesn't add up.
Right.
As in, if that was me, I'd be like, let's replay that scene because it happened all in one night.
Right.
So I wouldn't be like too concerned of like where we're standing or this and that. I'd have more of like what is happening in our story that doesn't make sense than I would about an actual scene here and there. But I'm like, the fact that this is supposed to like add up and it's supposed to be all cutesy for what's about to happen that, at their party, it doesn't make any sense because I'm like, when she said that, I was like, yeah, no, it doesn't add up at all because that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Did you figure that out too when she said that or no?
No, I don't remember.
You just went along with it.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't remember. And I guess Joy didn't either because she never mentioned anything about it. So
yeah, I was just like, not happened. But the problem is like they watched it the first time around. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't think they all did because they're pretty busy filming. So, but I was just surprised they remembered about the argument being about the internet porn, as Brooke says.
Well, it was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she forgave him so fast and married him that night.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard that one before.
Yeah. So then Brooke tells her that the dress isn't ready yet, so she needs to find something to do. And Haley tells Brooke she's such a grouch when Lucas isn't around and asks when he gets back. And Brooke says it's a couple of hours, just in time for the rehearsal party, which, like her dress, is a surprise. Haley says she hates surprises, but Brooke says she won't hate this one.
No, but she will. Just kidding.
And then Rachel ends up at Trick looking for Deb because she was wondering if she could tell her how to get in touch with Cooper.
That is so okay. This is so weird.
Mm-hmm.
She's literally going to his sister to find him. And then what I thought was also weird was that Deb knows exactly who Rachel is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when did these two really, like, the fact that she knows that Rachel's not like an adult, the fact that she knows she's underage, I'm like, because at first I was like, well, you could play it as she's seen her at her house sleeping with Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, the fact that she knows Rachel, unless she saw her on the sideline at that game, and then pointed it out to Cooper, I don't know, because it just didn't seem like Deb noticed Rachel. It seemed like Cooper noticed Rachel that night, and that was it.
Yeah.
Like Deb was focused on Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, huh? Like it, because they've never really had scenes that I thought. Did they?
No, I don't think so. No.
That would make you question it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know he's my son's age, or I know
Right.
she's my son's age. It's just kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently she knows all about it now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, isn't it also weird that Cooper told her? Like, told Deb?
Yeah.
Because he could get in some legal trouble. And the fact that he told his sister.
Yeah, I guess he knows that Deb won't say anything, I guess, which isn't great, but yeah.
And I guess she's protecting her brother.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah,
again,
she
well,
was
she
here,
was well, she was willing to protect Keith too. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so she tells Rachel that it's not gonna work out because
She's in high school and he's nearly 30.
yeah.
Uh,
And then what's next? He takes her to prom. That was funny.
Deb was good in this.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was
But
hard like she needs to be to her.
Yeah, and she did point out that if she thought this could work, she wouldn't have lied in the first place. So
Exactly.
mm-hmm.
But then she said, well, but then it was weird because she said, like, didn't he tell you that we slept together after he knew? And she goes, yeah, he said that was a big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, duh.
Yeah. So Rachel just tells Deb to let Cooper know she dropped by.
So where is Cooper?
She just said out of town, so I have no idea.
Because obviously he comes back for the next episode.
Yeah.
For the wedding. So I'm like,
mm-hmm.
So did he leave to go clear his head so Rachel could get away? Like, because obviously if he's in town, she's going to keep doing what she's doing in this episode, which is try to contact him.
Mm-hmm.
So did he leave so she could like get clarity and like leave him alone?
Yeah,
so
probably.
When he arrives back home, she'll be like moved on.
Yeah, because we know he's not race car driving anymore, and he never mentioned anything, picking up anything else as a job. So he has to probably leave town to get away from Rachel and Claire's head, like you said.
Well, and two, he said, or Deb said, he's staying for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like one of them said, "Oh, he'll be coming and going."
Yeah,
because that would make sense of why he's leaving, but like leaving for a weekend or whatever. But he said he was staying for a while, so that didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then back at the apartment, Brooke has Haley, putting the wedding dress on blindfolded. Now that's my question. How did she have Haley put the dress on blindfolded? Or did she have Haley close her eyes and help her put it on? Like
must have helped her.
Yeah, it's weird that you would blindfold her after she already has it on, but
or did she make her put on in the dark?
Maybe. I don't know. I was wondering about that. I wish we could ask one of the girls, but we can't. So but I think that's just the funniest part of this scene here. But because Brooke wants it to be a surprise, and Haley thinks it's weird because usually the groom can't see the dress before the wedding, not the bride. But then Brooke takes a blindfold off for Haley to see herself in the mirror, and she asks Brooke if she loves it. Haley can only stand there with her jaw to the floor. So Brooke takes this as her being speechless in a good way.
So ugly. Yeah, because she's like, it's so ugly.
Mm-hmm. And then to complete the look, puts on a headband like crown on top of her head, and Brooke explains it's like Halo, like like her song. So,
mm-hmm.
Which
and then
was sweet, but not really fitting.
No, and then that's when she talks about that she's maid of honor, which I mean, who else would be?
Mm-hmm. It's not like any of her sisters are in town.
No,
and I can't even see her choosing Taylor anyways.
Though this day and age, people do have the opposite sex stand up for them. So because Lucas is her best friend, she could have had Lucas stand up for her.
Yeah, but 2006, it wasn't that common thing.
Because you would think Tim would have, or Nathan would have Tim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So instead of Lucas, and you would think Lucas would be on Haley's side, but but Brooke is the maid of honor.
Right. Well, I did like how Lucas ended up walking her down the aisle. So,
Mm-hmm.
because her dad got her and her mom, or him and both of her parents thought the wedding, her first wedding, was boring. So apparently,
We ain't there yet.
yeah, just mentioning it. And then Haley starts crying, but not good tears, bad tears. And then Jake comes back with the narrating, saying that the kingdom wasn't well. And we get a flashback to that night with him and Peyton, where she tells him she loves him and Jenny. So maybe that's enough. And Jake says he thinks that's only enough in fairy tales. And Peyton says someone once told her that there's nothing wrong with fairy tales. Everybody lives happily ever after. And then that's when Jake tells her she just can't fly into Savannah and then get in his head again, telling him that she wants to stay and ask him to marry her.
And then she says, "Why not?" And he said, "Because I just might say yes."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you think that he was going to say no, but yeah.
Yeah, so weird.
And then we flash back to the present where Jake narrates that the princess and prince are set to be married and the princess need a beautiful gown.
Yeah, and Nathan walks in to Haley in her wedding dress.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, "Oh, I'm not supposed to see you in your wedding dress." And she's like, "This isn't my wedding dress."
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then
she calls him Brock.
Well, yeah, then she said that she tells him about Brooke and that it wasn't, that she's not happy with the dress. But I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like when Nathan was like, basically like, suck it up and just wear the dress because Brooke's your maid of honor and stuff. And I'm like, it's okay, Nathan, you wanted her to have this fairy tale wedding, everything she dreamed of. Well, she dreamed of this dress, Nathan.
Right.
And then you're going to tell her basically have the fairy tale except minus the dress. Which every bride, like most brides, the dress is like one of the most important things.
Or the most important, yeah.
Well, you would think getting married to the person would be.
I mean, when it comes to the planning of the wedding, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, you want the perfect dress. That's just it. And so I'm like, Nathan, are you what? I'm like, the fact that you would say just a couple episodes ago, have the fairy tale wedding, but then in this one, just wear what Brooke made you. No. Are you on something? Because that's not something you say, first of all. And also, that doesn't fit into weddings because the bride has to pick the right dress. Are you serious? And so maybe I didn't like when he said that.
Yeah, me neither. Like maybe if this was like a dress for like a birthday party, like her birthday party or something, then maybe she could let it slide, but not for the wedding, no.
Or even like prom, like who cares?
Yeah.
But your wedding day? I'm like, are you serious, Nathan? And what I also didn't like is that like Nathan is supposed to be supportive of Haley. Like, think if your significant other, like person you want to marry, or in this case, they are married, but was not siding with you, but was siding with your maid of honor. It's like, what? You're supposed to be siding with me.
Yeah, because it's not Brooke's wedding, so.
No. And also, too, like, first of all, Haley's supposed to feel good in her wedding dress in order to have a happy wedding.
Right.
And so clearly she doesn't. So that's also bad. But also for like Nathan, like you can support Haley, like be on her side, but just like give her advice to like how to talk to Brooke, but not make it like Haley just needs to suck it up and deal with it, because I don't agree with that. Side with your wife, and especially because here's the other thing. Nathan hasn't, like, they haven't even been like truly happy. They've had happy moments, but not truly happy. Like, you're finally getting to a good point, right? You're getting married again.
Yeah.
Who in their right mind would be like, well, I'm gonna mess this one up again.
Right.
Like, like, think about it. If you're trying to like get back with somebody and like make it good again, you're not gonna just tell the person to suck it up.
Right.
Because that just doesn't make sense to tell the person that you have been in odds with, oh, just suck it up. Like, here's another thing. Just suck it up. It's your wedding day. Just suck it up.
Yeah.
No. But also, yeah, so I didn't like that, but he could have just said, like, it's a terrible dress. Because he did say he didn't like the dress.
Yeah.
And he could have agreed with her, but then just in a nicely mannered way to, like, talk to Brooke. Not say, just wear the dress. I didn't like that part at all.
Yeah. And because it was funny how he said that his girl's gonna look beautiful in anything, but then he gets a closer look at the dress.
Yeah, except the dress.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this, yeah.
Like,
but then
again, why would you say that? Why would you say wear the dress, but then you say she ain't gonna look like, she's not really gonna look good in the dress? You can't tell her to wear the dress, but then she's not gonna look good in the dress.
Right.
Again, what?
So then Nathan gets a phone call from Peyton, who called him after her car broke down.
I'm not gonna lie, it was a very quick, because as soon as he was like, hello, yeah, I'm like, it didn't even give Peyton enough time to speak.
Right.
Because then he was like, which, okay, this kind of goes back to, what was it, episode 1 of season 1, the pilot episode, when Nathan wasn't there to come get her, and Lucas obviously was there to get her car and stuff and take her back.
Yeah.
And so here it is, like, Nathan finally gets to redeem himself with Peyton to actually come and save her and come get her. I was like, that was nice.
Yeah, because the first time he was at the gym and didn't want to leave, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, because remember he was like, basically like, just walk. Don't know where you're at, but just walk, even if it's 10 miles.
And dark.
Yeah, or hitchhike, with a killer. Who knows?
Yeah.
But here, I'm glad he went to go get her.
Yeah.
But then I did think it was weird because he asked Haley, and I'm like, okay, like, here's the thing. You're all friends with Peyton. Haley does not need to go with you to go get Peyton. Like those couples that, like, the wife seems to, like, always be around and you're like, go away, sort of thing. Where they can't have friends. No, I know those people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that, like, they're clingy kind of thing. But I was happy that Haley's like, yeah, you can take me to Karen's cafe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, that was better than, like, her being clingy that she has to go with Nathan to go get Peyton, even though he can do that by himself. Because he has no feelings for her, so he can go get her.
I mean, he was the one that asked, but yeah.
No, but I'm just saying that there are couples that are like that.
Yeah.
That they are too clingy with each other, or just that, they have to be in each other. Like, he has to be with her wherever she's at, or she has. I don't like those kind of relationships.
Yeah, she says Haley says she needs to get to the cafe to work so she can get money for a new wedding dress. So I guess she was gonna buy it then. And then on the road, we see Lucas and Karen. Karen notices Lucas has been quiet, so she asks him what's on his mind. And he smiles and says, Brooke. Then says it was nice to get away, but he's glad that they're going to be home soon. And Karen asks if he's liked any of the colleges they looked at.
Did you like this whole thing with Lucas and Karen, of how Lucas was so concerned with money?
I don't know. Haven't they always been concerned with money? Kind of.
Yeah, but, like, teenagers aren't supposed to. Like, that's the parents' job.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes the teenager can't help but think too.
I know, but then that just means it was bad parenting. If you are basically having your kid fear of money, like, it's just not a good look. And the fact that he is, because he's like, he likes these colleges, but it's like, oh, can't afford them, so not gonna go there. And it's like, and also, if he knew this, that they couldn't afford it, right? Why is he going on this college tour thing if he knows they can't even afford it? That was my thing too. Was you're talking about money, as in you can't go. So why are you going? Like if you know like you can only attend like the nearest college to you, then why don't you just go to that one and tour that one?
Right.
Instead of like your dream colleges that you can't afford. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he just wanted to get away and be with his mom for a while.
Mm.
Then he mentions because of his heart condition, he won't be getting a basketball scholarship. So
at first I was like, okay, like you get that part. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Dan has the heart condition. And he played college basketball.
that was before he knew he had it.
Okay, but he still had it. So how come he never dropped dead then?
I don't know. Maybe he was in better shape than Lucas is now. Maybe
Because that was my thing. Was Dan got to have it all? He apparently so-called had this heart condition back then, but got to play college.
Yeah, I don't know. And then that's when Karen says this trip wasn't just about finding him a school. It was also about finding a way back to a place where it's okay to dream again. And she reminds him that he walked away from basketball so he could live a long life. But what is he going to do with that long life? She asks him, what's his next dream? And then that's when we go back to the side of the road because Marcus is the one that drives up with a tow truck for Peyton.
Mm-hmm. And then he asks her how her leg is.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said that it's weird, everybody knowing about it. Well, I mean, hello.
Right.
She was like, what? She was like one of the only ones that were injured.
Yeah.
If the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's never talked about if anybody else got cut from like the glass breaking. Because there were people by the glass.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised it wasn't like, oh, these 5 that are injured, or because on the news that is what is said. Like normally there's numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird that it's not talked about. Like we obviously know Peyton was, but you would just think there would have to be others that got cut by that too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not obviously by the bullet, but like by the glass at least.
Mm-hmm. And then Marcus tells Payne that he was in the tutor center that day. And Payne says then he probably knows her friend Haley. So I was surprised she said Haley and not Nathan.
The rest of them?
Well. Yeah.
How about any of them?
I mean, she's not really close with Skills. But yeah, she could have mentioned Mouth as well.
I'm like, they were in there.
Yeah.
But I thought it was okay. So clearly this whole thing truly happened. Like the whole majority of that episode with Jimmy was the tutoring center.
Mm-hmm.
And like when he said, because I mean he was nice and asked her how her leg was. Then when he says that he was in the tutoring center, she didn't acknowledge it really. That like what happened, like Jimmy was in the tutoring center. I didn't like that it wasn't really acknowledged for him. Like Peyton didn't like reassure him. She didn't say I'm sorry, or what Peyton what I feel like would say is like, oh, that sucks, like it sucks or something. Like I don't know. I just didn't like how she didn't like validate it for him.
Yeah.
Because clearly he was traumatized by it. And he was in the room. So the fact that she just like he validated her and like so I just didn't like that part. I'm like, Peyton is supposed to somewhat care about people. I mean, think about season 1 or episode 1. She cared a lot about Lucas and how he would feel. And while she was with Nathan, and she was that person that it was like, okay, she's not like she really does care about people. And I'm like, and here's a very good example that she could. And the fact that she didn't even take any steps to truly care about him in that moment, I didn't like it all. Did you?
No.
I thought that was rude. I'm like, so he cared about you, and he was traumatized. He was in the room with Jimmy with the gun.
Yeah.
Like, and Peyton didn't even see the gun. So yeah,
Well,
we're gonna
she saw it
validate,
for a second.
but we're gonna just talk about Peyton, and it's like
Mm.
I
Yeah.
just didn't like that. I thought it was out of character, and
Mhm.
it made it honestly made her look bad
Mhm.
because it's like, oh, just about Peyton apparently. But
Right.
then when he said that he didn't really know her, then he said, well, that's kind of the point,
Mhm.
and I was like, mm-hmm, that was the point.
Mhm. Then he volunteers to, take her somewhere, drop her off, but she says, "Okay." She called
She called
someone.
someone,
Mhm.
and then it's Nathan walking up.
Yep.
So I did like how he talked to Marcus.
Mhm.
Because again, those two were in the tutoring center together.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the reason why they saved Marcus's experience until Nathan was there, so they could talk about it. Maybe so he wouldn't like kind of repeat himself. Maybe to both of them. I don't know.
Well, all she had to do was say even like it sucks, and then when Nathan comes, it could have been like, "Oh, how are you?" Like
Mhm.
that kind of thing. Like just validate that he said it instead of talking
Mhm.
about Haley. Like
Mhm.
that kind of thing. And
Mhm.
again, more than just one of her friends were in there that day.
Right. And I guess Peyton didn't know that they knew each other because she's like, "Oh, you've met," to Nathan and Marcus. So I don't know how
So,
that happened.
so these people never talked.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kind of weird.
Mhm.
Because I feel like you would tell your friend like, where were you that day,
Mhm.
and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like for me, like if you were in the tutoring center, I would want to know like who was with you, like especially when you were with Jimmy. Like that was like the big part.
Mhm.
People would want to know everything that happened in that room,
Mhm.
who you were with, what happened, like all of that kind of stuff. So it's very
Mhm.
weird that she
Yeah.
doesn't know. Again, it's like selfish Peyton coming out, I guess, not
Mhm.
knowing, but
Yeah.
others probably know.
Mhm. And then I thought it was weird too how she said she's going to clear her head, but then she just kind of stays behind her car in the back right there. So she didn't really go anywhere.
I guess that's where she's clearing her head.
Yeah. And then Nathan mentions to Marcus that he hasn't seen him around much. And Marcus says that's because he doesn't hang out with any cool people. But then, admits that the day in the tutor center really screwed him up. And Nathan says that he thinks that they all were screwed up. And Marcus tells Nathan that it just made it worse. Sometimes he wishes he could talk to the kid in that room and try to help him. And Nathan asks if he means Jim. And he says, yeah, himself too. The version of him
um
he was back then.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish it was written as one of the main characters that were screwed up for the rest of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Because like here, Marcus is having a hard time. It was hard for him to go back to school. That's why he dropped out.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the rest of them all just went back to their everyday lives and people people that went through school shootings, they especially if they encountered the shooter,
Mm-hmm.
they're not they always talk about how they didn't go back or
Mm-hmm.
they didn't go back for a long time and or they had trauma or they still after years later they still have PTSD from it and all of this like it changed who they were for the rest of their lives and
Mm-hmm.
here the main characters that were in that room went back to their everyday life and they're cool and they can go back to school and they can go to parties and live their lives as if it didn't happen. I just wish that for the rest of the school year, because they are seniors. It's not like if they were freshmen or sophomores. They're seniors. They only got a couple more months left.
Mm-hmm.
You would think they could have wrote it where like one of them had trauma from it.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when they went back, remember Peyton was like, oh, this is an extra minute or two of my life getting searched. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you got shot. You would think that you would be the one person that's like, sign me up for security.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's like that. Like, I feel like people would be happy with that if that happened to them.
Yeah.
Where it's like, thank you for finally protecting us. That kind of thing. But I just didn't like it here where it's like, oh, like we're seeing Marcus finally like truly talk about what survivors go through. But again, he's only a guest star, so it's the come and go character. It's not like we get to see it play out.
Yeah, because he's gone after this one, so he's not gonna show up again after this one.
Oh yeah, so it's kind of like that. Like like if it happened to a main character, we could see truly the trauma that it happened. Because think about it, if you have never seen the show and you turn on any episode after the shooting one, it would seem like that never happened.
Yeah.
Because like watching it, these are just regular episodes that, you know, could be before the shooting, after, it doesn't matter because it's not talked about. Like that kind of thing.
Right.
It's just like a storyline, but I just feel like it could have been done differently, especially for the survivors. You know, like if they watched it, be like, well, that's clearly not my reality. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm glad we get to see it on somebody, you know, like Marcus, but I just feel like it should have been a main character. At least Peyton. Like, she should still be worked up about it.
Right.
Like, her as a cheerleader, why would she want to go back and be a like, why would she want to spend extra time in school? That kind of thing. It could have been as easily as that. And her friends rallying around her, like, or her friends saying, like, we're never leaving you in the school alone, sort of thing, and just trying to help her through it. It could have been that, but it wasn't. It was, let's move on from. The only one that had the PTSD kind of, it's a little like of Lucas, but he's getting back to himself, which I feel like is too soon. But also Karen, she's the only one that truly like had the episodes of grief, and that was it. That was it. Everybody else, it was like, okay, because like Lucas went back to school as soon as it opened back up. It's not like he was like, I'm gonna stay home for a month.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, because they've given Peyton all these other sad storylines before, and you know, had that play out even maybe longer than it should have. So I don't know why they didn't take that opportunity to do it with this one as well.
Well, and I think too, it would have been a good adjustment for us to see her with Jake of like, I can't be in that school anymore. I can't be in that town anymore. I have PTSD. I gotta go see someone that wasn't there that day, which would be Jake.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like that would make more sense of like, you could see her,
running
kind of
away.
like, what?
Running away.
Well, yeah, and like not, and like having that PTSD to where she needs to get out. And that's why she would run to Jake. Not because of the reasons that they've given. It would just for us as audiences of like, we're not team Jake. I think it would help the Lucas and Peyton fans, I would say. Given how she just couldn't deal with school after the shooting. That'd make more sense of why she runs to Jake. Not just because she's bored and lonely.
And then, you know, Nathan tells Payne that he loves her and calls her Sawyer and asks, isn't this the kind of thing that she calls Lucas for?
He's out of town.
Yeah. Didn't Nathan not know where Lucas was? Like, because like Haley didn't even know when he was going to come back, and then Nathan doesn't even know that he was out of town. So I don't think that really makes sense, but.
He did, but he was on his way home. Maybe Nathan thought that he was already home.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe
like
Karen
really
and Lucas, maybe they took an extra day or something.
Maybe. And then he asks about Brooke, but then we get a flashback to Payne and Jake. She asks if he's okay because he's still awake, and this is when he tells her that she talks in her sleep.
Yeah.
And and she says she knows and apologizes, and he says he's been awake wrestling with the feeling that she needs to go back to Tree Hill. She shouldn't stay there.
Yeah. And then she tried to make a joke like, oh, did I say I wanted to kill you or something? He goes, no, you said I love you. And she was like, well, that's, supposed to be like a good thing. And he goes, no, you said I love you, Lucas. It's like,
Yeah, and then her smile drops.
yeah, but it's like, see, she tells the truth.
And then the next day, Jake is narrating that the day of the wedding is getting closer, and the princess was afraid of the evil king, Dan, because although he had not always been this way, his heart had turned dark, and his kingdom had grown to fear and despise him.
Yeah. So he's outside the cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And Haley goes outside. I did like that she went outside to tell him, like, you're scaring people.
Mm-hmm.
You need to just go home.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked how Nathan was doing. And this is what I thought was weird because, because he said ever since like losing Keith, and she said, he's a mess. I'm like, nobody's a mess. At least like obviously if you take Kieran and Lucas out, the rest of you are not a mess. What are you talking about? Nathan's a mess. Nathan is perfectly fine.
Right.
Did you like when she said that?
No, it didn't make sense. No.
Why did she say it? I'm like, you can clearly tell he's perfectly fine.
Right. And then she said, especially since he lost his father long before that.
Again, he was fine before that too. As long as he was away from Dan, he was fine.
Yeah. And then Dan says he heard that they're renewing their vows.
How?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Deb would tell him, so I don't know.
I mean, is it like the talk of the town or something?
Maybe, I don't know.
Kind of weird that he would know.
Yeah.
Because nobody in this cast is talking to him, so it doesn't make any sense that he would know. Unless like one of the kids' parents work for him or something as mayor, and that's how he knows. I don't know.
Right. And then he, tells Haley that he's happy for her and that she's the best thing that's happened in Nathan's life in a long time. And he asks Haley if she can tell Nathan that he sends his best, and he understands that he wants to keep his distance with this restraining order, and he respects that. So then Haley tells Dan she's not buying this.
He's literally hanging outside Karen's. Like, I don't think that is okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's across the street from the cafe, so I think he was respecting the restraining order.
But who just stands there all day? I mean, what? That is so creepy. Like, what are you trying to get out of it by standing there?
Right.
You can't talk to anybody, so I don't get it.
Yeah, and then Haley tells Dan that she's not buying this, and Dan says he can respect that too, and he's glad she's protective over Nathan. He supposes that if he reaches his potential, it doesn't matter who got him there. It's that he gets here that's important. And he tells Haley to have a nice wedding day.
Both got him there, though.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest, Dan did get him there too.
So then Rachel leaves Cooper a voicemail saying that she was thinking about him and thought she tried calling him again. And she tells him to call her.
If he doesn't answer in the first 10 times, why keep trying?
Yeah, she says it's starting to feel like he's avoiding her.
Duh.
Yeah.
Hello. He left town to get away from you.
And after hanging up, she throws her phone at the wall.
Okay. The fact that, I don't know, the next time we see Rachel, she has her phone again. I'm like, I thought it would have broke or something.
I mean, yeah, those phones were better made back then to withstand some falling and etc.
Did you ever throw yours?
No, I'm just saying that they were, kind of like bricks compared to the ones we have now that can break really easily. So
yeah, now you accidentally drop it and gotta go get a new one.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, well, so then it goes to Brooke and Haley talking about the dress because Brooke wants to talk about it. And that's where she wants to involve the feathers and stuff. And
Mhm.
Haley then, tells her the truth.
Mhm.
She don't like it.
Nope.
And I don't okay, and here's my thing, like, I don't like that Brooke gets so mad that
Right.
Haley doesn't like it. Like, this is her wedding dress, her wedding day. Like,
Mhm.
think like for Brooke,
Mhm.
who loves like detail and style and all this, like you would think she would put herself into Haley's situation of like, it's Brooke's wedding day. Would she want
Mhm.
somebody to just be like, I made you this ugly dress, you deal with it?
Right.
No, she would tell the designer, I don't like that. Fix this, do this. I want this. Brooke would be that person. So
Mhm.
why she feels that Haley should just deal with it and wear whatever annoys me.
Mhm. Yeah. I didn't like it either.
Because here's the thing, you're like, yeah, you agreed to design it or, make it. So make it the way that somebody wants it.
Mhm.
Seriously? That's just so stupid.
Yeah.
And then I didn't like when she went in to insult Haley, like
Mhm.
Haley's wardrobe, because I'm like, what does that have to do with you not listening to what she wanted in the beginning?
Mhm. Yeah.
Did you like any of it?
No. No.
Did you think that her insulting Haley needed to be said?
No. No, not at all. Yeah, and I didn't like how she said that if she wants what she wants, that she can go shopping and buy a new wedding dress. And why doesn't she go to Slip Barn and she's sure they're having a sale?
Didn't she say that to somebody else?
Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I swear the slut barn thing was
Mhm.
already said.
Yeah. Yeah, so she just kept insulting Haley until she walked out the door, slamming it. Yeah, so I kind of wish they kind of brought this back, like in a reference later on, like Haley mentions, oh, remember when, you try to make me wear that wedding dress or something like that?
At her wedding.
Yeah, but they
Mm.
don't. It just
Because
would have
here's the
been,
thing,
yeah.
Haley was a really good maid of honor.
Mm-hmm.
What in the heck is Brooke right now?
Right. So then Peyton gets home to see her drawing of Brooke, Lucas, and herself shooting at the heart that now has a blindfold on. And Peyton looks at it when we go into the same flashback with Jake from before. And Jake asks Peyton if she told Lucas that she loves him, and Peyton explains that it was a school shooting and she was bleeding and thought she was going to die. It doesn't mean like that. And she tells Jake she loves him, and Jake says he knows she does. And she asks him, then why is he making such a big deal about it? And he says when she decided that she wasn't going back to Tree Hill, does she remember what she told him? She
Yeah,
had said her
that
father, yeah.
that her father's not around, Nathan and Haley have each other, and Brooke has Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said that, Haley and Brooke are her best friends. I didn't know Haley was her
Mm-hmm.
best friend.
Right.
Mm. But I did like when he said that, then when he asked her, like, what if Brooke didn't have Lucas?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, would you two be together?
Right.
Because
And
then
then we
she
don't,
kind of questions it, though.
yeah. But we don't really see her answer because we go to the next scene when Jake is narrating out of that fairy tale book, saying that in the days before the wedding, the king surprised the princess and gave his blessing to the marriage, but the princess was still torn. For even though she found her true love, it meant she would have to leave her faithful handmaiden behind
Yeah.
forever.
So that's where Brooke and Peyton are now together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was weird because, like, Brooke's like, hi, only friend I can trust.
Right.
At least Haley was being honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton's not.
Right.
And then it was weird because she said, oh, did you and Pete break up? And she goes, I didn't see Pete. I went to see Jake. It's like,
Mm-hmm. And Brooke asks if that's a good thing, but then back with Jake, who says or she just asks him to marry him, or marry her after Jenny called her mama, and after she lost her mom again, her dad's not
yeah.
around.
I
Yeah.
did like when he said, you just want a family.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes, no, I want this one. I so agree with him. Like, she can go create her own.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to have this one. And I do agree that she went after Jake because it's like he already had this built-in little family. He just needed a mommy. You
Yeah.
know, that's the only thing that was missing. And it's like, oh, but no, what? Like, you're a teenager
Right.
now. You need to find your own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I agree with him that that's what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Because she doesn't like being alone.
Mm-hmm. But Payne thinks that this is about him not being into her, but he says it's not. He just doesn't want to believe that there's another guy in her heart, but he thinks
But
that
I know
there
that
is.
there is, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there is. There always has been. There always will be.
Yeah.
And for Jake, why would you want to be second?
Right. And then still not getting it, she says she thinks that he's afraid, and Jake says he is afraid because it hurt like hell the last time he lost her, and he doesn't want to do that again. And Payne tells him then don't. But Jake says that marriages fall apart because people get caught up in the romance and they're not honest with themselves, and he has to think twice, once for him and
Once
once
for
for
Jenny
Jenny.
and what, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then Nathan gets home when Haley is hitting a boxing bag.
Yep. And she said she talked to Brooke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she says she's never seen someone go from throat to hurt so badly to mean really quickly, and that was just her. And then
No,
Nathan.
I thought that, like, I didn't like that she said that because Brooke was the one that turned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Nathan tells Haley that he's sorry, but she'll never guess who he ran into today, Marcus. And Haley asks if he means from the tutoring center. Nathan says yeah, and asks if she heard that he dropped out of school. And Haley then mentions that she ran into Dan today. And she asks Nathan, who he thinks is a bigger ass. And Nathan tells Haley it seemed like Marcus was really affected by the whole thing. Like maybe he was trying to change because of it. And Haley says she was going to say the same thing about Dan, believe it or not. And then Nathan says not because he was thinking of inviting him to the wedding dinner tonight. And Haley shockingly asks Dan, but then Nathan says he means Marcus. Though he loved to include his dad, but he knows he just screwed it up, but there's still hope for Marcus. Then Nathan reminds Haley about picking their first dance song.
I liked when he said that. Just give him the few songs that she's trying to pick from, and he'll pick for her. It was sweet.
Yeah.
But also, don't you think at this point they would already have a song? Like that's their song?
Yeah, with them being so far in the relationship, yeah, they should.
Yeah, I feel like every couple does. It's like, this is our song. So I thought that was odd. I'm like, yeah, I already have been married. It's just kind of weird that you don't have a song.
Right. Nathan then asks Haley what she's going to do about Brooke, besides pretending that she's a speed bag and wailing on her. And Haley says she's going to apologize and hope she forgives her. And then on the road, Lucas tells Nathan literature. She asks him about his future and if he could go to any college, it would be UNC to study literature.
You mean he was talking to Karen?
Oh, what did I say?
Nathan.
Oh, yeah, I meant Karen, yeah. And, Karen likes the idea, the next American author being her son.
I like when he said that, they just don't have the money for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is weird. Why is she saying it now? Like the scene before when he said that they didn't have money, she could have brought it up then. But she waits until this moment to say that that Keith had been saving for Lucas's college.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like weird timing, like, you're almost home, but let's just now talk about it.
Yeah, I think she wanted to see if he had figured out what he wanted to do and then give him that good news that he can actually have what he wants now that he has that dream of it.
I did like though that when she said that he dreamed your dream with you. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
Because I think he did. He always wanted whatever Lucas wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had a thing though. Given that Karen's pregnant,
yeah,
we don't know. Like obviously they haven't said it yet, but we know she is. Keith has this money saved for Lucas.
Yeah.
What about Lily?
Well, Keith didn't know about Lily yet.
I know, but it's his daughter, his only child. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. And I feel like for Lucas, once he finds out about her, would he really want to take money that Keith would have saved for her?
No, I feel like Lucas would have at least split it between him and Lily. So
Because I just feel like Lucas wouldn't take it, given that's his sister's father. Like Lucas, as Lucas, it's like, oh, I'm screwed, but you deserve to have your father's money because I got to have your father, but you
yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
sort of thing. Like she didn't get any piece of him. It was like, oh, what does Lucas want, and all of this of Keith's, and it's like, what did Lily get? That was her father.
Yeah.
She got nothing. So that's kind of the thing, is like Lucas got Keith's time. He got him all those, 17 years. Lily got none of it. And then Lucas is also going to get Keith's money for college. Like, I don't know. Just kind of weird. And then for like Karen to know she's pregnant, but it's like, yeah, I'm going to just give, like he saved this for you, but I don't know. Like, I just feel like it should have been a conversation. I don't know. I just didn't like it because like, it's Keith's child's. I don't know.
Well, does she even know yet, or does she not know until the next episode?
Well, she should know for herself that she's pregnant. It's been how long? She should have then at least had a missed period at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. She just acts like she just found out the news in the next episode, so just wondering.
I feel like she knew. I feel like she knew. She's just now telling people. Because you tell people at like 12 weeks. Like that's when it's sort of safe.
Yeah, but isn't it? How long has it been? Like a month, maybe at the most. Maybe not even that.
Well, then she should have had her period or missed period. I mean.
And then Brooke is walking with Peyton and tells her she lost her mind and went off on Haley. She even called her a slut, but Peyton says that she's proud of Brooke helping Haley find another dress is nice. But Brooke says she's not shopping for her. Yeah.
Brooke.
Yeah, shopping to make herself feel better. And then Brooke spots something in the window and says, "I'll bet her," and she'll be right back. And then Rachel happens to be in a changing room when Mouth calls her. She had a smile on her face, thinking it was going to be Cooper.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I didn't like it. She got mad again, and it's like, it's Mouth. I thought you liked him as like a friend still. Like you should still be happy he's calling you at least.
Yeah, so she just lets the phone ring and throws it on the chair in the changing room. And then she looks at herself in the mirror in the little hallway of the changing room.
Mirror.
Yep.
And then Brooke walks out.
Right, but when she punched, when she was going to punch the mirror, she had her fist out, right?
I don't know. I wasn't watching too much of it.
Well, it looked like she was going to punch it with her fist, but then when she does actually hit the mirror, it's her forearm instead, and not just her fist. So that's why I was confused on when they made it look like she was just going to punch it with her knuckles and not her whole arm.
I don't know. I didn't look too much into that punch.
I thought that was weird. So then, yeah, so Brooke, that happened to be the same store that Brooke was in and in the changing room at the same time. Yeah. And, she's concerned to see Rachel with her bloody arm. And Rachel says, I thought he liked me and she needs him to like her. And, Brooke knows, of course, who he is.
Yeah, and she's just standing like, what is going on?
Yeah. So then the next scene is with Jake narrating the story more about the eve of the princess' wedding. A lavish feast was arranged.
So this was definitely on character for Brooke, because like she shows up and because they're at Trick, right? All this is Trick, and she shows up and that's when Peyton's like, as usual, Brooke Davis shows up and all the work is done. I'm like,
yeah. And Brooke explains that she had some things to deal with. And then she asks about how things ended with Jake, but before Payne can really tell her,
Haley shows up, and it's like, you ruined the moment.
Yeah, I'm surprised they even let her be there before, the show. So,
yeah, because I thought it was all supposed to be a surprise.
Or I think maybe she was just going there to apologize to Brooke. That was probably it. But yeah, I'm surprised Brooke still let her even walk in. But
yeah, and then Peyton says she's gonna hide all the knives.
Yeah, because she can see the tension between them. Yeah.
Yeah. Then they both say they're sorry.
Yeah, at the same time, and they hug. And Brooke says she's sorry for being selfish, not listening to her. So at least she finally realized. And Haley admits she was wrapped up in what she wanted the dress to be, that she freaked out a bit.
I didn't like that she said she'd wear the dress. No.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah.
I'm like if I was Haley, I'm still sorry like how I reacted, but I'm still not wearing your dress.
Right. And Brooke says that's nice, but she thinks she might want to save the love after the dinner tonight. And she mentions all the questions she's been asking her about the early days of nailing.
She didn't really want to know.
Mm-hmm.
She was just gathering the material.
Yeah. And says she'll see her tonight. And then later that night, people show up for the show. Brooke is relieved to hear that the place is full since she's heard the flu's going around and everybody's dropping like flies. So I wonder if that's the truth, or they just did that plot up because they didn't like want to involve that many people for this, or people couldn't film at the time that they were doing this. So I was wondering why there were so many people that weren't involved, you know?
Because there was flu from the show.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that was purposely, or they just don't want to include that many people.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay everybody, so they made the characters say that there was a flu going around.
Okay.
You really thought that they just said, I'm sick, I can't go to work today?
No, I'm just wondering if that was the excuse because people couldn't film it. Like they had other things going on. Or something.
They all have contracts, first of all. And I've heard many actors say that you have to go to work whether you're sick or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is. I mean, on Friday Night Lights, one of them went to work, had pneumonia, still had to go. So it doesn't matter if you have the flu, you got to go to work. But no, I think it was written this way.
Okay.
Because it stirs up more for the drama of, oh, we have to find replacements for everyone.
Yeah, I guess. And I get it that they wouldn't need Nathan to, do a scene as well. But
that's why I said it gave good drama of having people gone. Because we wouldn't have had the Lucas and Peyton moment.
Yeah. And then talking about that, Peyton does say that Lucas should be back any second, and she asks Brooke if she's excited. And Brooke says she is, but it's strange because she realized since he's been gone that she's not as dependent on him as she thought she was, because, she has her clothing line and her friends and herself, and she's not bad company.
And then that's when, who was it, Bevan? That said that it was weird because she goes, Peyton, Naylee's here.
Yeah.
We couldn't just say Nathan and Haley.
Right. Yeah, I guess they just wanted to see that as much as possible in this episode.
Because I'm like, us fans call them Naylee, but it's like, you guys should be calling them Nathan and Haley.
Right. I guess they just wanted the fans to feel like they were involved in that, like that was their little input that they put out in the show, maybe.
Yeah. But I did like when Peyton's told her, like, you're the best company, believe it. Yeah, because she's about to break her little heart.
Yeah.
But then Lucas shows up. Finally. So they never saw each other. He went from coming home on the road trip to going right to this dinner. That was strange.
Yeah, I guess Brooke must have told him, or somebody told him, just even like texted him, just like come to Trick, and not really telling him what was up, just come to Trick.
Because, then he says the whole, hey, pretty girl. She said, hi, boyfriend.
Yeah, their usual saying.
So cute.
Yeah. And then he tells her the place looks great and she did good. And Brooke says she knows she did, but Payne and some other people also helped, but it was mostly her.
Oh my God. It was mostly her that did it.
I mean, she did
the storytelling, but she didn't actually do the work there. I was like taking people's credit.
Yeah. So then Bevan comes backstage to tell Brooke that there's a problem. Skills is sick and he's supposed to be in the first scene with her. And Fergie said he stand in for him, but she doesn't think anybody's going to buy him as Nathan because of his hair. And she looks back at him. I thought that was funny because Bevan thinks Fergie's hair won't work when Skills doesn't even have any hair.
So that was my thing too. I'm like, you do know Nathan has hair, right?
Yeah, like everybody has hair, so it doesn't matter who would fill in for him,
Oh
you
my
know.
God.
But anyways, and Brooke can't help but laugh and
And
just
so
tells,
and Lucas, they're both
yeah,
like,
hmm
okay.
yeah.
Oh.
So, she tells Bevan it's gonna be fine, just give him the lines, and then Lucas gives, and she gives Lucas his and says it's showtime. And Brooke steps on stage and like Jake, telling the story of a kingdom far,
See,
far
this
away.
made sense that Brooke's narrating this.
Yeah.
Because she's narrating
hmm
it for that night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked when she said that far away, there was like a girl fell in love with a boy, and then another girl isn't her, supposedly a friend, secretly taped them, like how they
Yeah.
fell in love. I'm like,
hmm
and it's weird how like Nathan's going along with it as if like he's heard this before.
hmm
I was like, he wasn't like, what?
Yeah.
That's what I thought was weird.
hmm And then the first scene is the first date. Bevan is dressed up like Haley, with the wig, poncho, and all. Fergie's wearing a Letterman jacket like Nathan. She tells Fergie that she doesn't trust him and totally not into him.
Okay, but like when you go to the first date,
hmm
she wasn't wearing a poncho. I didn't think was
Right.
she wearing the poncho? I didn't think she was wearing I thought she was wearing that jacket and stuff.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think
Maybe the poncho's like her, because like I feel like everybody knows the poncho, so maybe that's why. Like that's Haley's signature look, I guess.
yeah, I don't know. I was just like
Yeah.
I thought she was wearing that cute jean jacket
hmm
the
Yeah.
first time.
hmm Yeah. So Bevan as Haley says all that dialogue to Fergie, and Fergie just says, "Damn, baby, that is one ugly ass poncho." And he gives her the bracelet and tells Bevan to not, Nathan's line to not say he never gave her no bling. He like
Like,
kind of rewrites it a bit. Yeah.
oh my god, it was so funny. See, this is
hmm
the thing. It's like you had to have certain people not there to make others
Yeah.
to make the scenes just extra funny.
hmm I could see Skills doing a similar thing, or maybe adding more dialogue. I don't know. And then the next scene is a sleepover. Lucas and Brooke are playing Haley and Nathan. And Brooke tells Lucas she knows he collapsed on the basketball court tonight. So she was thinking maybe he wanted to stay the night and get a little freaky. And then she takes off her robe to show lingerie
Yeah, and he's
underneath.
like, "Yeah, let's do it." And it's like,
hmm
and then Haley's like stands up and is like, "That is not how it happened." And
hmm
Nathan stands up, "Yeah, it is." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god."
Yeah. So you know that Brooke knew what really happened, but she wanted to, make her own rewrites as well.
Well, all of them were doing rewrites.
Yeah, I think that was just the
Well,
biggest one,
they
and
had
more
to
Brooke than Haley.
definitely amp it up because I mean, you
Yeah.
couldn't just have their actual true love story. You had to actually like make it funny.
Yeah. Or else
In order for all these people to be there, there has to be
mhm.
entertainment.
Yeah, or else to just be them fighting a lot. And then the next is the last hurdle. Deb is playing Haley now, and Junk is playing Nathan. Deb is crying, saying she just wants to go home to her own room.
Call
She's
her
not a
Mrs.
wife.
Scott.
Yeah, and then corrects himself to call her Haley. To call her Haley.
So I have a
And
question.
yeah,
Did they do this one with Deb and Junk because you said he was like a college student or college age.
yeah, it seemed that
And
way.
it makes sense for someone not over 18 um to do this scene with his mom.
hmm
Do you know what I mean? Because like think if
Yeah,
it was like Fergie is supposed to be their age or Skills, like
mm,
they're supposed to be
yeah,
Nathan's age. It would be very weird to see this scene play out with
hmm
Nathan's mom.
right.
So did they do it with Junk, who's supposed to be over their age?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
I wondered that when I was like watching. I was like, I wonder if they did it because he's not supposed to be their age.
hmm And then he puts his arm around her, pulling her closer, and leans in for a kiss before the curtain closes.
And I was watching Nathan's reaction. And he's just kind of like, okay.
Right.
And cracks like half of a smile. It's like, because I did think that was weird because it's like, that's his mom.
hmm
Supposed to be playing his wife.
Right.
It was a little weird.
hmm
But then the next scene is is the one where he's throwing the rocks and apologizes. But
Mhm.
so of course somebody's out, so Brooke has Nathan come up to play himself.
Yep.
And it's just so weird because it's like he never read the script. Like everyone else had time to read their scripts.
Mhm.
And he's just going in it and not even knowing what she's about to say because obviously it's not what exactly happened. And so, Brooke had to amplify it. So it's like the fact that he's going to play himself and he doesn't even know what it says. That's a little weird.
Yeah. I guess he probably skimmed over it. And he was there, so maybe it was just by his memory as well.
Yeah, but again, she made it different, Brooke did. So you don't know what is on paper for Haley to say that you have to like try to make up.
Mhm.
It's just kind of weird. But
Yeah.
I did think it was funny because Gigi is playing Haley. That's why I said, well, weird, because you said she was 14.
Right.
And then of course all she wants to do is kiss Nathan. So she goes right to kiss him.
Mhm. Before he can even say anything.
And then it was funny because Brooke's like, that's not in the script. You
Mhm.
missed a few lines. And then she's like, oh, I think we messed up. We better start again. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh my God. And Nathan's just like in shock and like kind of like smiling. And Haley's like, you get back down here.
Mhm.
Because we know all Gigi wants to do is kiss Nathan.
Yeah. And then the next scene is the makeup. Lucas and Brooke are playing Nathan and Haley again, and Lucas says he decided to go for a run and ended up there. And Brooke says she's mad at him, and Lucas says he's a
Okay,
porn
but the
freak.
wig. The
On
wig.
Lucas, you mean?
Yes. Oh
Mhm.
my God. So bad. So bad. I'm like, I couldn't even take it seriously with
Mhm.
the way he was acting, but then the wig. I was like, I
Mhm.
can't. Like, it was so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't. Like, all I could do is just like roll my eyes and laugh because I'm like, it's so bad.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. So Nathan says,
then how he said it too. Like, I know I'm a porn freak. It's like, what?
Mhm.
And then Brooke as Haley was like, and I like to Haley myself from time to time. It's like,
Mhm.
oh my God. But then did you
Yeah.
see Nathan look over at Haley?
Mhm. Yeah, they had opposite reactions to that line. And then Brooke tells Lucas that she still needs to know that he loves her, and Lucas tells her that someday he's going to marry her. They
Haley
kiss.
James.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Because like that's your best friend.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if that was weird for Lucas to say at all.
You mean
And,
Chad? Chad as Lucas as playing Nathan.
well, no, like Lucas playing Nathan, saying that he wants to marry Haley. So, and then they kiss, and Payne looks kind of hurt by this. And then we get a flashback to her and Jake. He says to her he's sorry, he doesn't want her to go, but her father told her to follow her heart, and he's right. As much as it kills him to say it, she needs to follow it home. And Peyton, through her tears, asks if, what if he's wrong? What if she goes back and her heart just aches for him, just like it has for months now? And Jake says, and he'll still be here, and if it's meant to be, they'll be together. She
I
says
didn't like
someday.
that at all. Like Jake has no what's the word? Um Not confidence. Like self-esteem for himself.
Mm,
Because he literally just says like, oh, basically like if it doesn't work out with you and Lucas, like come back to me.
right.
She's in love with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. You know she always has been. So for you to say like basically like, oh, come back and like I'll be the second choice. It's like, what? Like who
Mm-hmm.
wants to be second choice? Nobody. So why would you be like, oh, then just come back? No, who's going to say that? That's why I'm like, Jake,
Right.
you really don't think too highly of yourself. If you
Mm-hmm.
feel that she should see how it is with Lucas, and if it doesn't work out, then come back to you.
Right.
Like, Jake should find somebody that is totally invested with him and that there's
Mhm.
no one else,
Yeah.
not somebody that is interested in somebody else and might come back to you. That just doesn't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, Jake. Now we know what you think of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Not you don't think of yourself very highly.
Mm-hmm. And Jake's narration continues, saying, as the night wore on, a calm fell upon the land, and all was right in the world, if only for a moment. And now it's intermission. Haley tells Brooke she would strangle her if it wasn't so awesome, and she thanks her for the show and for being her maid of honor. It means a lot to her. And Brooke thanks her about being cool about the dress, and then Haley
I did like,
mentions,
that Rachel's here.
mm-hmm,
And then she said, try not to kill each other. And then that's when Brooke said she actually invited her there.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so then Brooke walks over to Rachel asking how, her hand is. And she says kind of gross, and then thanks her for covering her at the store. And Brooke says, sure, mirrors break all the time. She then mentions she didn't tell Peyton about it. She then tells Rachel as long as she's okay, she's about to walk away when Rachel stops to explain why she broke the mirror. She says it was because she was mad at herself for lying to Cooper. She knows that she just met him, but she really liked him, and now he doesn't want to see her anymore. And Brooke tells Rachel that sucks and she's sorry. So, but why did Brooke mention to Rachel that she didn't tell Peyton?
Me
Like,
too. I didn't know that either. I was like, what? What does Peyton have to do with Rachel?
mm-hmm,
I guess maybe it was to say like I didn't tell anyone, like even my
yeah,
best friend, like I kept this to myself, sort of thing.
yeah, maybe,
Maybe that's why. Because if she told anyone, you would
mm-hmm,
think she would have told Peyton. So maybe
mm-hmm,
that's why. But I thought that was
yeah,
odd too. I'm like, what does Peyton have to do with this?
yeah, maybe they should have made that a little bit more clear.
Yeah, of like I didn't tell anybody,
Mm-hmm.
including
Not
Peyton.
even, yeah, mm-hmm,
Right. That sort of
mm-hmm,
thing.
yeah. So Rachel asks why is Brooke sorry? And Brooke looks over at Lucas and tells Rachel it's because she knows what it feels like to have your heart broken, and she wouldn't wish that on anybody. And Rachel asks not even her worst enemy, and Brooke says not even her.
So if she
And
knows
then
her heart has been broken, why is she still with Lucas?
because she's trying to trust him.
Like if that's all you're gonna remember,
Mm-hmm.
then why are you with him?
Right.
If you can't get past it, why are
Mm.
you with him?
Yeah.
Again, then he needs to be with somebody that can fully trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. That isn't
Yeah.
gonna throw it in his face every 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah. So Nathan walks over to Marcus and tells him he's glad he showed up. And Marcus tells Nathan that if this is his history, he can't figure out how he even got married the first time.
What does that mean?
Just the mistakes he's made, I guess. With the porn, and then we didn't really see too much besides that, really.
Because I'm like,
At
okay.
least in the play, but yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. And then that's when Haley walks up, telling Nathan she thought for a moment he snuck out with Gigi. And Nathan introduces Haley to Marcus. I thought that was weird.
Well, you just said you remember Marcus, right?
Yeah. I
He
just, because,
didn't
yeah, I don't
he didn't
know.
really introduce her. He just
I mean, just like that kind of introduction.
well, I mean, people forget all the time and you just tell them, hey, you remember so and so? And it's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well
Like
then,
obviously she probably remembers he's the jerk from
mhm,
the tutoring center.
right. So Marcus tells her congratulations, and then she mentions how Nathan told her that he dropped out of school. And Marcus explains to her, saying he has stuff to deal with besides his grades sucked anyway.
I did
And
like when she offered to tutor him. That was nice.
yeah, me too.
And
If he
then
wants
Nathan, she's a great tutor. And I'm like,
mm-hmm,
says the one that married his tutor.
yeah. And Marcus says he'll think about it, but of course we know that he doesn't take up that offer. And Haley then thanks him for showing up, and Nathan tells him to take it easy. And Marcus says bye to both of them. So then Nathan tells Haley that was really nice of her, and Haley says that even though the two people lost their lives that day, maybe in some strange way other people found theirs. And backstage, Brooke asked Peyton if things are ready for the last scene.
And then she
Peyton,
said that some Peyton said, no, mouth is sick.
Mhm.
And then that's when, oh, let's just have Lucas fill in.
Mhm.
And Lucas is kind of like,
doesn't
okay.
like the idea. Mhm.
But he said just no wig this time.
Yeah.
And then that's when she's like gives him the lines, and then Peyton's like, do you even know what the scene is? And he's, no. The proposal scene, oh. And then he's got like a terrified look. It's like, now here's the thing. If Lucas didn't like Peyton, why would he have that reaction?
Right, yeah, because, Peyton was even telling Brooke, like, maybe they should cut the night short, trying to, like,
Because Peyton
save
has
them.
those feelings.
Yeah.
But for Lucas, why would he have that reaction of like, oh crap, if he didn't have the same feelings? Like if all that was over with, right? Why couldn't you do the scene? Why is it a big deal? It's a scene of Nathan and Haley. So I was like, Lucas. Again, all season there's been like those like little nuggets of like him showing he likes Peyton. And here it is. He can't even, he has this weird reaction of this scene, and it's like, gotcha, you still like her.
Yep.
It just keeps validating that they like each other.
So then Brooke gets on stage to introduce the last scene. That's called the proposal. She says before they end the night, she wanted to say a few words about Nathan and Haley. She had told them once not long ago to be happy because someday they make them all believe in true love, and they do. And in a few days, they're going to renew that love for all of them to see. But in a way, they see it every day. The only difference is that Haley will look fabulous in her wedding dress by clothes of her bros, which is kind of odd.
Because she's marrying a bro, even though she already married one.
Yeah.
They're still legally married, Brooke.
Yeah. And she continues saying that one rainy day, Nathan proposed to Haley, and the rest is a fairy tale. So then Payne and Lucas are on stage. They're in the bed and accurately, say their lines.
They're so far away from each other, too. Oh, that was funny, too.
Yeah. And Lucas asks Payne what she's thinking, and she says that she was thinking of how she never, and then stops talking, and Brooke gives her the line, never want to go home again.
Yeah. And then flashback.
Yep. Because then Lucas tells her that he loves her, and then she's, in the flashback, or we're in the flashback back with Jake again. He asks her where her head is at, and she says she went to bed tonight. She was living a fairy tale, and when she woke up, it was a nightmare. Jake says it's still a fairy tale and not to give up on that.
What I can't figure out is why these two are still talking.
Right.
Like, as soon as he said that you said you love Lucas, it should have been like done there. Like, pack your things, leave. Yeah. Why are they still talking? I'm like, why? Even the last time when we saw them basically say it's over, go back home to figure it out with Lucas, she's still here.
Yeah.
She hasn't packed her stuff yet and left.
And then he kind of repeats himself, saying that she has to look inside her heart and ask herself, is Lucas still there? And if not, he'll be there. So
I think there was just too many flashbacks of Jake and Peyton. It should have all been wrapped up in one scene.
I guess they didn't have enough other material to use to fill up the episode, so that I keep going back to Jake and Peyton, I guess, maybe.
It was just too much. Because, he just keeps repeating himself just with different words.
Yeah, so then back in the present, Lucas repeats his line that he loves her because Payne wasn't paying attention for her next line. Then we flash back again to the cheer competition when Payne was drunk in Lucas's room. She asks him if everything's going to be okay, and he says it is. And then we get some flashbacks of them since season 1.
Yep, so, all the good scenes between my Lucas and Peyton. Even the one where she said she wants him, with all the same things, and I was like, here we go.
Yep,
it's about to get good.
Yep. And then the present, Payne tells Lucas that she loves him too, but Lucas can kind of pick up she's saying that as herself and not Haley. And Jake narrates again, saying once upon a time.
You think he picked that up?
Well, I don't know. He had that look on his face, like he could see that she wasn't really acting. I don't know.
Oh, I think he could see there was something going on with her. He didn't know what. There's just something going on with her. And it's like, man, you finally got through that scene. Probably what he was thinking too. But I think he was just like, he doesn't know what she's thinking and like what's going on with her, because there's always something going on with her. I feel like that's what it was. I didn't think he knew exactly what she meant.
Yeah.
I think she meant "I love you" to Lucas, but I didn't get that that's what he thought.
Right. Okay.
I think he just thought, "What's going on?"
Yeah. So then Jake narrates again, saying, "Once upon a time in a kingdom far away, there would lived a beautiful princess who loved a boy. And Brooke is looking at Peyton and Lucas. The curtain closes. Everyone cheers. Nathan and Haley kiss. And Brooke walks over to Rachel, asking if she's going to be okay. And Rachel says she'll be fine. It's his loss, right? And she walks away. And the Marcus thanks for the invite to Haley and the offer about tutoring him. And it's not that easy to change who you are, but it helps when you let people try, when people let you try. And then after Marcus leaves, Haley tells Nathan that there's something she wants to do. So would he mind if she met him back, there later?
And then Rachel,
Mm-hmm.
isn't she in the car now?
Yeah.
And she calls him for like the millionth time.
Mm-hmm.
And of course he doesn't answer.
Yep. And she doesn't leave a message this time. And then Jake narrates again, saying the people had their struggles, as all people do. And they had grown to fear and despise the king whose heart had turned dark.
So I like when Haley, I mean, it's kind of weird that Haley goes to see Dan. And she said, the last time she stood in the doorway to give someone the benefit of the doubt was for Nathan. And then she said, and this is still for Nathan. And she invites him to the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
What, so he can mess it all up? Doesn't she realize he always messes everything up?
Right.
And that nobody there wants to see him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's given him another chance like she gave Nathan, I guess, in her mind.
But I thought it was funny because she goes, but God help you if you don't change.
Right. And then back at Trick, friends of Lucas's, tell him bye. Apparently they are in the Ravens team as well. We just never saw them until now. And then Karen asks Lucas if he's happy to be back. And he says, yeah, it's good to be home. And he watches Brooke clean things up with other girls. And Lucas looks happy and content. And then Jake narrates in the end, the love between the princess and the boy are undeniable and true.
And that's when we realize he's reading the whole story to Jenny. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cute because it's like Peyton's not there.
Yeah.
Because she's at home
Mm-hmm.
where she needs to be.
Yeah.
But then that's when Nathan and Haley get back home. And that's when they lay in the bed and realize the bedspread's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's when they see the dress, which again, Nathan isn't supposed to see.
Right.
So that's what's weird too.
Yeah. And then my thing too is the mannequin is right in front of their door that's closed. So how did they even get in the room without?
I thought it was the bathroom door.
Well, it seemed like the corner that they were looking at was the closed door. Because isn't the bathroom in the hallway?
No, well,
so that has to be the bedroom door.
No, I thought it was in the bedroom. Because I thought one time when somebody went to go get changed, it was, I don't know where it's at, or maybe it was the closet. I don't know. It might have been the closet.
Yeah.
That the door is, and then that's where the mannequin is, in front of the closet.
It looked like a regular door to their right, so I thought that was just the bedroom door to the hallway.
I don't know. But I just still find it weird that Brooke, all in one night or whatever, made this dress.
Because I was wondering, because she was at the play the whole time, so when does she have time to do this?
That's why I didn't know if she was giving her an ugly dress to see how she'd react. I don't know.
Maybe that's why she was late for the setting up for the play, because she was making the dress, but that's still not enough time.
Yeah, nobody can make a dress by themselves that fast.
Mm-hmm.
And all the things she was doing that same day, like trying to make up with Haley, having the fight, no.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice. The dress is beautiful, but I just don't buy it.
Yeah. And that's when Jake ends the narration, saying that he says magical things happen to them, things they couldn't explain, much like love itself. And like most fairy tales, the princess and the boy lived happily ever after. And that's when he closes the book and we see Jenny. So yeah. So I think they just use this as a way to kind of, with the audience, no. Well, yeah, but also with the audience, make them wonder if he's going to marry Peyton or if this is about just Haley and Nathan, or like about both couples getting married. So that could kind of a, what will happen kind of thing.
I didn't think that.
No. Yeah.
I think it was just he was reading to his daughter.
Mm.
Then they had a tie-in, Nathan and Haley. But then Peyton tells Brooke that she still has feelings for Lucas.
And then
oh my god,
I don't know if Brooke was just actually that clueless, or if she was just like in denial, like because she's like, "You mean care for him as a friend?" And she says, "No,
no, I
more
mean
than
more
that."
than that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not good.
Right.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, once she said it, it's like all the flashbacks
Mm-hmm.
should have been coming back
Yeah.
of these two for Brooke.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
remember when you didn't trust them? You should
Mhm.
you still shouldn't trust these two. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, wasn't good.
Yeah.
So for me, the high, I liked all the reenactments. I thought they were all
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, me too.
Because they were funny because you didn't know what was gonna happen.
Mhm.
Because obviously it was a little of the original scenes, but it was obviously amplified to a million.
Mhm.
And then the low, for me, the low was the whole Jake and Peyton. It was too much of them in the episode.
Mm. Yeah, my high was also the play, and the low was Jake finding out that Payne still has feelings for Lucas.
But he didn't know that.
Well, I don't know. But yeah, so just him at least getting it confirmed from Payton's mouth that she still has feelings for Lucas, and him being hurt, and it's heartbreaking that he has to lose her again and for good. So, as far as he knows. And then rating?
I'd rate this an 8. It was okay.
Yeah, me too. An 8. And then best and worst?
Well, let's go with the worst was Brooke
Okay.
in this goddamn wedding dress situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, respect the person's wishes. So she was 100% okay to make a wedding dress that looked just like she wanted, but she had to go through a whole fight over it. It was stupid.
Right, yeah.
So I didn't like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was the worst for me because I just didn't like it. Just accept that, first of all, the dress was ugly and she didn't like it. She wants what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
Her wedding day, think if it was you, Brooke. That's the problem. Brooke never puts herself in other people's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
She should have been like, "You're right, Haley. That's not what I would want either. I'm so sorry. I'll make you a different dress."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I didn't like that. And I also I didn't like that she was kind of taking credit for Trick being all nice because Peyton and the other ones are the ones that did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the worst was, or that's the worst, but the best was Nathan. Because not only did he redeem himself for going to get Peyton, but he didn't have to talk to Marcus then either.
Mm-hmm.
And he invested himself into Marcus.
Yeah.
Remember? So, because he invited him, he wanted to
Mm-hmm.
make sure he was okay. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just, unlike Nathan.
Yeah.
So, I liked that. So, yeah, and the only part that he annoyed me with was the whole telling Haley to wear the wedding dress, but he redeemed himself from that too.
Mm-hmm.
By still being there for her and talking it through.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, my worst is for Brooke too, for not listening to what Haley wanted for her dress.
Oh, I thought you were
And
gonna say she was the best.
just you'll see. Yeah, because she really should have, heard Haley the first time, even without even making the first dress. But at least she, figured it out in the end. And then I also put Brooke as the best too, because she was the one that put the show together.
Can't have the same as the best.
Well, you never mentioned that before, and Brooke did have layers
We
here in this
never
episode.
put anybody as the best and worst.
I know, but Brooke was good and bad in this episode, and I think that that could be a common thing with at least once in a
No,
while.
pick one.
Well, I couldn't pick one, so I put Brooke for both because there were things that she did badly and good in this episode that I liked and didn't like about her. Because this wouldn't have happened, the show wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Brooke. And then she did make up for the dress at the end too. So
Yeah. I don't buy it.
no, that's my answer.
Okay. All right. And then what's the next episode?
The season 3 finale, episode 22, The Show Must Go On.
Show must go on.
Which means that something's obviously going to happen, and the
There's
show
a
is
show.
starting. Mm-hmm.
There's a show and it must go on.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yep, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.